Hey everyone, it's Randy from Dreamy Bohemian. I hope that everybody had a wonderful Christmas or holiday. I hope it was really, really wonderful. I'm coming on today to show you how to make these wonky houses. I had a lot of requests for the process for these, and so what I want to do is go through that with you today, and I'll probably break this video up into a couple, at least a couple of videos, just to make sure that it doesn't get super long. So these are made out of file folders, and I've got all the supplies here. These are not 100% done yet. I just need to put the little key on them, and you'll see what I'm talking about a little later. So these are made out of file folders, and they're just made out of a letter size file folder, just a regular, normal, everyday file folder. And that is enough to make 6 houses. So what we do is we cut the file folder in half, and we get 3 out of the top and 3 out of the bottom. So it works out really well for the size that we're going for. And this is actually the size that we do the houses for. And then this side, we're going to get the rooftops out of. So here is the supply list if you wanted to screenshot that and go back later. But the base is 1 file folder. As it says, you can yield 6 houses from that. The color that is on these comes from Gelli printed papers that I have done in the past. I just kind of, these are actually some that a friend gave me, and that I kind of dug into my stash a little bit, and some other papers. You can do digi papers, but I like the brightness of these, and you can see I've already used some of them on those houses. And so it just gives it that really bright, whimsical color. And you can choose your own color palette, of course. You don't have to do bright and whimsical. If you don't want to, you can do shabby chic or whatever shape that you choose. It's completely up to you and your imagination. So the next thing you're going to need is some book pages, and that's kind of just you know, to give your eye a little bit of a place to rest. And so I've just randomly collaged on there, and I'll show you how to do all of this so that you get it right. We need some matte medium or Mod Podge. Whatever you have on hand is perfectly fine. It doesn't matter what finish you use either, because whatever you're used to using is fine. So I've got the matte fluid medium here from Liquitech Basics. And of course, I will link all of these supplies in the description box for you in case you know, just want it to be easy to find. We're also going to use some black gesso. This is for the roof. And then we're going to use some white gesso. And the white gesso is just to give a little bit of accents on the houses. And I'll show you how to do that as well. You're going to use the glue of your choice. You're going to need probably 2 different kinds. I've got one for fabric. I've got Fabri-Tac here. And then I have art glitter glue. And I've just got it transferred into this little bottle here so that it's easier to manage and it doesn't come out gloppy. It has its own little cute little lid. But so the Fabri-Tac I'm going to use to adhere any trims that I want to put on, or anything like this that's not paper, because the Fabri-Tac is really good for that, and these things just really stay on with that glue. So that is my choice of glue for that. And then the art glitter glue is for gluing the roof on, and the little chimney here, and the door, and maybe something else. It just depends. Just depends on what you're gluing. So you're obviously going to need some scissors, just paper scissors. I have a paper cutter off to the side here that I'll use and to cut out the houses out of the file folder. We're going to need a ruler so we can measure the file folder out into sections. And Posca pens. These I have here. These are, I don't know if these are medium tip or whatever, because this is all in Japanese writing and I don't remember what they were when I bought them. But it's a pretty hefty tip. And they're paint markers, and they're really fun colors. And so I chose pink, blue, and white to work with so that they would stand out on the roof. And that you can use whatever colors you want in your color palette. You can get regular paint pens, whatever you want to use. I just happen to have these on hand, and so those work really well. You're going to need a Stabilo pencil that's water soluble. This is the Stabilo All, and it's 8046. And like I said, I'll link this for you. This is to do the accents around here and things like that. Let's see if like this image that I put on there, I outlined it with that. And I could make it messier because you can rub that out with your finger. When you put water to it, it spreads, and so it's a really fun thing to work with. Okay, what else do we have here? A palette knife for the white gesso, a couple of paint brushes, one for putting on the gesso and one for gluing for your collage. And I just picked some of Sheila's trims here in the gold. I have some blue. You can do whatever you want. Like this little piece right here, I cut off of this large piece and I put it up here. And so you can use golds, you can use anything you would like to use. You could use fibers, whatever you want. I just thought that these were fun, and I love gold, and so I always kind of incorporate that. And everything I end up making, somehow it just happens. So small charms and embellishments, and what I have here are a couple of different things that I have just pulled. So I had these typewriter keys that were from a vintage typewriter, and so I used those for the doorknobs on these little houses, and those are really super fun. If you have the black and white kind, those work really well too. And then I've just got I don't know what you call these, the little jewels, I guess they're flat back jewels, just for crafting. I have some of those. I have some that are more 3D. And then just some little tiny charms. Like I've got a little heart lock key there, key charm or whatever. And then another one. I do have some keys, and that's what I want. So all the houses are going to have a key beside the door. And so this key will go here. And what I'll do is I'll just take and I'll hand sew that on with some embroidery thread and a needle, and then that'll kind of dangle there. And I might even put a little bead on there or something like that, and that'll be to finish those off. But just some really fun things that you might have charm-wise. I have some hearts. I've got a little star. Like I said, I've got that little lock thing. I have a spoon. Just whatever you have laying around. I also have some broken jewelry. I like these. They're really kind of filigree, but they're really, really light. They just come from a vintage necklace that I thought was really cool. On the set of houses I made before these, I put some little ball chain on in places. I've got some filigree things here. So just whatever you have on hand. This is a wooden postage stamp, which is actually a button. So anything that you can find laying around your house in your miscellaneous junk drawer, whatever you have will work just fine. And then lastly, focus word cutouts. So I go through magazines and I just cut out words that appeal to me. And so I've got some words here that we can do. And then I've also got some vintage stamps, or I don't know what they're stamps for. I can't remember. I feel like they're labels of some sort. Anyway, I just don't remember what they are, but I thought the colors were really pretty in those. And so those work well as a little focal point. And you can use cutouts from digitals, like as you can see. So I cut this out of a little magazine, this little kitty cat, and I put him on here. And here's some little flowers that I cut out. I cut this butterfly out of a digital, and I just used half of it. And I've got some little magazine page images there. That's like inside a little cabinet. It's like a wooden doll right there. So all manner of things. I used a stamp here. There's some babies there, and a little flower there. So just whatever you find. Magazines are really good places to come up with cute little images like that. And here's one of the jewels. I thought that was really pretty. It kind of looks like the window on the door. So whatever you can find will work perfectly well. All right, so I will also have some rub and buff here and a gold paint pen, just in case you want to edge in gold. That's always fun. I didn't break out the gold leaf this time. You will be shocked to know, but I didn't. And if you want to write words, you don't feel like maybe cutting them out from magazines or whatever, get yourself a Sharpie, or you can use a paint pen or whatever, and you can write words on there as well. So that is the supply list. So I'm just going to put that to the side, move these things over, and then I'm going to show you how we cut the file folder. So what you want to do is where this file folder is naturally indented, or whatever you call that, bent, folded, that is the line that you're going to cut on. Now you can put this in your paper cutter, you can cut it with scissors, whatever you want to do. So when you're done, what you're going to have is two pieces of file folder. So the one with the tab that sticks out is the one that we're going to collage, okay? So I'm just going to, and I've already kind of started on here, but I'm going to write collage so we don't get mixed up with the tab. And then the one with the indentation, we're going to black gesso. Okay, so you can do whichever step you want to do first. It might be easier to do the black gesso first so that it can be drying, because what you're going to do is you're going to gesso one side, just one coat, and then when that dries, you're going to flip it over and you're going to gesso the other side. So for the collage, you're just going to collage one side, and then on the back, what I did is I took a couple of pieces of paper that I had Gelli printed on, and I just put them together on the back, and you'll see how cute it ended up. Like some of them got all one piece, some of them got two. So just to cover up the back and make it fun, but so you'll see, you can see the back of the house, the roof is black as well, and the little chimney. And that's just so that these are a little more versatile, so that you can use them, you know, you could hang them up as a little tag, like you could put a hole in it and hang it up somewhere, and it could, you know, potentially spin around, and then you could see the back of it like that. You could use it as a tag in a journal, maybe if you didn't have as thick of a doorknob on yours. And you can use buttons for doorknobs. I have a lot of smaller buttons that I could use, or you can make it out of scale and you could put a really big doorknob, whatever you want to do there. There's really no rules here, which is what I really love about this project. It's just all about having fun. So the way that you're going to measure this, and I measured, so this file folder is not exactly 12 inches. It's like 11 3/4 inches, which ends up being like 5 14/16. And so really what I did is I just measured this tab right here down the middle, and then I measured to see kind of what it was over here. So you can do it either way. You can measure here or you can measure the whole thing, but just draw a line down the middle like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come back, and with your ruler, you're going to take on the line, and then you're going to mark at 3-inch increments. So 9 inches here. So, yep, so you're going to mark at 6, and then you're going to mark at 3, or whichever way that you go in. And then all I did is I just took my ruler and a pen, and then I just drew a line on that. And if it's not perfect, it does not matter. It doesn't matter, okay? If you want to make some short houses and some tall houses, you can. Just don't go halfway. Just go down a little bit further. It's totally up to you. This is just the way that my brain wanted me to do it. And then you're going to collage on here. You're not going to cut it up yet, because basically what we're making here is a collage masterboard. And so then when you cut it up, everything kind of looks really cool. And it's kind of a little mystery how things turn out. And so what we're going to use for collaging is the matte medium or your Mod Podge or whatever you choose. And don't be confused, like if you see matte medium in a jar like this, it's usually just a little heavy, more heavy bodied than this, and you can either one of them work. It doesn't matter. Obviously this is gesso, this is not matte medium, but it does come in this type of a container as well, so not to worry. Now when you do the roof, if you get heavy black gesso, this just happened to be all I found the day that I was looking, and it's heavy. But I like that because of how thick it is, and it helped me to do only one coat instead of having to do 2. So that's the advantage of having the heavy black gesso. And I'm not going to gesso with you today. I think anybody can pretty much take a paintbrush and paint some gesso on a file folder. That's pretty self-explanatory. And so I already have mine made up here on the black gesso. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just take whatever paintbrush that you want to use. Make sure you have some water nearby so that when you're done, that the matte medium doesn't dry in your paintbrush, because you'll be done for after that. It doesn't come off very well. So I'm just gonna grab some of my papers here and see what I want to put on here. I've already put a couple things on here just to show you, but I want to show you after we drew these sections on here, how to do your layering a little bit. And so I have some, or I had some book pages somewhere. Let's see where they are. I might have to grab another one really quickly. I must have used it all. Yeah, let me grab another one really quick here. Okay. This is probably not a good book to use. I don't think I want to use that book. It's about a murder mystery, so I don't want to I don't want to use that. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, this is about war. See? Okay, let's try this again. All right, what do we have here? This is a history book. Okay, let's do that. I think this is the history of England. Here we go. Charles I and Buckingham. That shouldn't be too controversial. So I'm just going to randomly tear these. And they're not going to be super small. Okay. So what I like to do with the book pages is I like to place them so that, let me get one with writing all over it. So that right here, so it's going to get, this one piece of paper is going to get all 4 houses if I want it to. Or I can do 2 with a little more here. So you see where it helps you in being able to place your book pages. So I'm going to put that right here. And then once you get one down, you can kind of see, and then that'll help you get book pages on all of your sections, which means that it's going to be on all of your houses. Now, you don't have to think about it like that if you don't want to. You can do totally random, you know, whatever you want to do, but I like to do it this way. My brain likes to organize things, and so that's just what happens. Let's see. Then I think I'll put another one down here. Something with some words. And then I already had this one up here. We can do some on the corners. That's always fun, or at the bottom. And I kind of, I'm going to do this one upside down, so it doesn't really matter how you put it on there. It's not wanting to stay. You're going to also not put too much matte medium down because you're going to get bubbles if you do that. Or it's going to take a really long time for everything to dry, which you could always leave it overnight. That's not a big deal. But so let's see. Do I want to put paper anywhere else? I might put some over here. And notice I'm leaving this little tab on. I'm just leaving that on so that when I cut these, if I go over, you know, with the paper, it's not going to matter. And so I just left it there to know which file folder piece I'm working on. Because if I did the one with the indent in it, then my houses are going to have the indent in it. And so I just go ahead and leave it on there. And then I kind of collage over it. And then I just cut that piece off. And then it gives me a nice cut to where it doesn't look like I've tried to line the paper up with the edge. I'm always going over the edge a little bit. So that helps a lot, okay? And so I'll just do a few more random pieces with you here, just to show you kind of how I like to even out. Again, like I said, you can do completely random, but for some reason, my brain likes to see the splay of color all over. And so I just, it helps me to know what colors I've laid down, that, okay, I've done 4 of these and I don't need any more, you know, or, okay, it's time to switch to another color. There's no rules, but somehow I make them. Somehow. I don't know why, but that's what happens to me. So now you know how my brain works. And let's say I'll go down here with this one. I'm going to go out and put that one a little bit over there so I don't have to worry about cutting a really small piece. If you see any little pieces that are sticking up, just slide your paintbrush under there. And I've got one more of these. And I'll just put that there. All right, so now that my brain is happy and I have shown you somewhat how I like to work the collage part of it, then I'm going to set this to the side. And then I already have a piece that I collaged here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some paper on the back. And I'm just going to at random choose something for that. Let's see what color I want to use. Maybe that. I might use my rolly paper. Let's see, where is my... I like to have a tear ruler too. And then that way I can tear the edges. And they're not 100% smooth. So what I'm doing is I'm just, it's stuck on there. I am just tearing this so that I know when I put it down, I'm not going to have these white edges showing. And then I know they're not going to be showing here because the paper is wider than the file folder, as you can see. I'm not sure if I want to use that side. That might not be enough paint. Let's see. Oh, I could use that wonky thing. I think I will also, maybe I'll do this. I'm just kind of thinking about what it's going to look like on the back and how it's going to look on the houses. I think that'll be fun, but I feel like that's way too much pink. So maybe some purple here. It looks kind of muddy to me. Let's see, what about this? Here. Yep, okay, I like that better. All right, so I also like the way that it's laid down. This flat edge is not showing, so I've kind of, and that white edge is not showing, and then this. So which piece do I need? This is my first piece that I need to lay down. So I'm going to get the matte medium back out. And I'm just going to slather it down on the paper. And all I'm doing is sticking this down. So that when I cut around the edges of this, I've already got this on here too. All right, and then that's my next piece. Just lay that down there. I'm not doing another layer of matte medium on top like I was doing in the collaging. I'm just going to do a little bit right here on the edges. Okay, sorry about that little time out. Had to close my door. Okay, what was next? What was next? Ooh, that's a good piece. What was I doing next? No. That was there, but I think I'm gonna put this here. I like that a lot. That's really pretty. Notice how my file folder is bowing up. So letting this dry overnight is a really good idea. And putting it under some books so it flattens it out really nicely. So when we're done with this, I am going to call it the end of part 1 so that I can let this dry. And then when we come back, we will cut the edges off. I will have let it dry, and I will put it under some books to make it good and flat. And then we will start on our roofs in the next video. Let me just get this down. A little bit. Just kind of sealing that on the edges only. Okay, so now making sure that is good and attached. Now we have the back side of the houses, and then we have the collage on the front side. I'm going to make sure and clean my brush out really good. And this is part 1. So I will see you guys in part 2.